All right, so let's move into the lessons for today first. Come, let's take a look. All right, so today, right, will be actually a revision on MCQ and short answer questions. All right, I believe that most of you, right, tried the worksheet already. However, there will be some extra questions for you to participate later. All right, and the next week, right, there will be another set of problem sums question. All right, so it's like 1 week is MCQ and short answer. Then the next week is word problem. Another week is MCQ and short answer, and the next week will be problem sums. All right. So this week it so happens to be the MCQ and the short answer. All right. So some of you are having the test this week. Good, good. All right. Take this lesson as a revision lesson. Come, let's go into it. Oh, very simple, children. Hey, children, when there is MCQ, right? What do? You must develop some MCQ technique. Why? Because the answers are already given to you. So if the answers are already given to you, right, you can actually do something. Work backwards. Right? Learn to work backwards. Can. So a number is 500 when rounded off to the nearest 100. All right. So it's rounded off to the nearest 100. So every number down here, you try to round off to the nearest 100. Can you see it? So the hundreds is this position. This is the 100 position. To determine whether the hundreds is to round up or to maintain, you have to look at the tens position. All right. So whatever, right, it is above 5 or 5 itself, you have to round up. If it is below 5, for example, this 4, right, is below 5, what must you do? You have to maintain it at 400. Can you see? The next digit down here is a 2. 2 is below 5, you have to maintain the 100 at 4. You have to put the 2 zeros at the back. Can you see? Next one, down here is a 0. 0 is below 5, so you have to maintain it at 5. All right, put the 2 zeros at the back. And down here is a 6, is above 5. If it's above 5, you have to round up from 5 to become 6. Can you see? And the question is talking about hundreds, you see. So your hundreds, right, there must be 2 zeros at the back one. There must be 2 zeros at the back. Do we have 2 zeros at the back? Yes, we do. Every one of these, we have 2 zeros at the back. All right, so which is the answer? Which number when rounded off to the nearest 100 is 500? Obviously, answer is C. Can you see or not? That is the beauty of MCQ, children. Sometimes you don't have to go and think, sure, what to do. Just look at the question and you try to work backwards. Give everybody in the hundreds place. Easy, right? All right, not too tough. All right, so remember that if you are asking for the hundreds place, always look at the position of the tens. 5 and above, you round up the hundreds. Below 5, you maintain. All right, hello, Xander. All right, so moving on, this is question 1, not too difficult. Don't worry, later got some extra questions for you to do. All right, later you will have the chance to participate. So I'm going through all these easy questions first. All right, let me go through the next one, question 2. Okay, question 2, I see that some of you, no, everybody got it right also. All right, so when you do your worksheet, right, children, those who have done your worksheet, right, Nico got do or not? Don't have, right? All right, so those of you who have done your worksheet, right, I'm able to see your answers. All right, I'm able to see your answers in the worksheet. I can see how many times you attempted the worksheet also. All right, so I can pinpoint to you that this one is how to do, how to get better and all this. Is that okay? So please go and try to attempt your worksheet every week. All right, it's not difficult. It's only about 8 to 12 questions only. Can? All right, so what fractions of the shapes are triangle? Can you see or not? Children, do you know what's the meaning of shapes or not? Shapes means what? Shapes down here means everything else. All right, the shapes down here means what? Everything else. Everything. All right, and they are only focusing on the what? This is a fraction question. They are only focusing on the triangle. And what did the question say? The question wants a what? The question wants a fraction. What's the meaning of a fraction? Fraction means you must have a numerator versus a denominator. All right. So down here, the question say, what fraction of the shape of the shapes means everything? Triangle. Triangle is the focus, which is on top. Can you see or not? All right. So you're supposed to compare triangle versus everything. So what's the meaning of everything? All right. Everything means you have to count. Count what? All the shapes inside. Let's go and count how many everything we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So everything consists of 12. Can you follow? All right. So it's like the total. In this case, right, the shape or the everything is like the total. You can say that. And they're only focusing on what? They're only focusing on the triangles. All right. So that's how the question will ask. Triangles are three-sided. So please, this is a triangle. A triangle is three-sided. All right. How many triangles do you have? You have 1, 2, 2 triangles. And therefore, the answer is 2 over 12. All right, the answer is 2 over 12. Is that the correct answer? Chew. Yes, I saw Emma shaking her head. Why? Because in primary school standard or even in secondary school standard, you have to reduce to the lowest term. You have to reduce to the lowest term. Sure, the question never say, nope, no argument. You cannot say that. Question never say you still have to do it. All right, because you have to, because it's a default. You know what's the meaning of default? So for example, default means, right, if you go and see your handphone, right, all right, there's this setting called the default setting. So when you click on the default setting, right, do you know that your handphone will go back to the factory setting? All right, means that for example, you click on the default, right, it will be everything like a new again. Right, means that you will lose all your pictures, you'll lose all your games, you'll lose all your contacts and all this. So don't anyhow go and press the default. Understand or not? Very dangerous. All right. So default means it will return back to its original. Can? So by default means by its original, you have to reduce to the lowest term. Cannot argue one. All right. So 2 and 12, they are part of the 2 timetable. So divide by 2, divide by 2. And your answer is 1 over 6. Can you see? Therefore, your answer is A. Ding, 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 ding. Is that okay? All right, so these are the questions which are the easy one, all right, because nobody get mistakes on it. So let me look at question 3. Question 3 also easy, nobody make mistakes. Which of the following shapes is a square? So usually those questions that's easy, I'm talking faster as you can see, right? So I don't want to bore you, right? So which of the following is a square? So what are the properties of a square? All right, properties of a square is what? So a square, right, is considered a four-sided. Right, it's considered a four-sided. And very importantly, children, all the four sides are of equal length. So sometimes your teacher will put in this stroke. This stroke means that what? They are all of equal length. And your teacher will also put in this corner thing. This is called a 90 degrees or a right angle. All right, all these are called right angle. There's another word. There's another word for this. What is it called? Start with P1. It's called perpendicular. So sometimes you see the word perpendicular, right? You have to link to 90 degrees. Yes, they will say perpendicular lines. They will say perpendicular lines. All right. So when they say perpendicular lines, right, it actually means these two lines, this darker blue line and this darker blue line, it forms the 90 degrees. All right. So perpendicular lines is actually these two lines together. All right. But remember that the perpendicular lines means it's 90 degrees. All right. So you have to know the keywords down here. Can? So which one looks like all four sides are of the same length? Obviously, this one is out. All right. How come this one got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 square? Down here got 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So it doesn't balance. It must be of the same length. Down here got 1, 2, 3 squares. Down here got 1. Not balanced. Cannot. Down here got 1, 2, 3, 4 squares. Down here got 3 squares. Nope, not balanced. So the odd one out is obviously C. So C is the answer. Children actually can cheat. How to cheat? Take your ruler, measure. All right. If I take my ruler and measure, right, this one is about 4 cm. Down here is about 4 cm. All right. And I use my ruler and I use it to measure down here again. Down here is also 4 cm. Children. So this means that it is what? Equal in length. Can you see or not? So don't believe you can use your ruler to measure. It's quite accurate one. Is that okay? So all these little cheating things, right, is okay. All right, because you can use your ruler, you can use your pencil, so make full use of it. Is that okay? All right. So question 3 also nobody get it wrong. Question 4, this question. Good Carrot, I need you to take a look at this question. All right, question 4. So Alice, she bought 3 kg of sugar. This 3 kg represents the what? Good Carrot, what can you tell me? Is it the total, the use, or the left? Can you unmute yourself? Good Carrot. This 3 kg, is it the total, the use, or the left?
Total.
Very good. So this is the total. All right. And she used 3 kg. Right. This is the use. And the question is looking for left. Is that true, Good Carrot? And guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Every one of these got a units behind. Can you see that? So what is this telling me? What is this telling me? All right. What is this telling me? All right. There is a units. Units means what? All right. Units means you can what? You can actually what? You can actually add or subtract. Do you know that? How come? Because there's another kind of fraction. There's another kind of naughty fraction whereby there's no units one. For example, 2/3. Look. No units, no units. Be careful, no units, All right, be careful, There's no units. This type of question, right, there is a chance that you have to what? You have to multiply. You have to multiply to the total. All right, so be careful, children. All right, so for example, one example is this. Look, they say she used 2/3 of it. All right, she used 2/3 of it. Once again, right, there's no units, There's no units for this. Can you see what's happening? 2/3 means 2/3. What's the meaning of off? Off actually means what? Have you learned this? Times. All right, and the word it, what does the it represent? This it actually represents the total. All right, because we are talking about the sugar in the beginning. So 2/3 times 3 kg. Can you see? All right, so there's another way they will ask. Be careful. You have to look whether this got units or no units. That's the crazy part. Be careful. All right, so those with the units, right, you can either add or subtract. All right. You can also what? You can also divide. All right, this one is in future, just to let you know. Can? You can add, subtract, or divide. But for multiplication, you have to what? You have to make sure that what? Down here, there's no units. Down here got no units. In order to what? In order to multiply. In order to multiply. Do you understand, children? All right, so you have to be a little bit careful. All right, so there's a difference between this and this. One got units, one no units. All right, so every time you see the word off, right, some of you will say, just say the word times. Very dangerous. All right, very dangerous. So the first thing to check whether is it got units or not. Got units, what happened? Got units, what happened? You cannot multiply. You cannot multiply. All right, because got units, you only can add, subtract, and divide. Cannot multiply. All right, got units, cannot multiply. All right, so this is our question. Please, you have to be super careful. Can? If you think that's important, right, write it down. I can see that the some of the children are writing down because this one is many of the P4 will make the mistake. Even my P5 make the mistakes. Even my P5 make the mistakes. I'm serious. All right. So remember, those got no units, then you can start to multiply. Multiply to the total. So how do you multiply? All right. So I believe your school have taught you this already. This 3 is actually 3/1. All right. So you take the what? You take the numerator times numerator. 2 times 3 is a 6. You take the denominator times denominator. All right. 3 times 1 is a 3. Eventually, 6 divided by 3 is a 2 kg. Can you see? All right. So in front, there's no units, right? There's no units in front. All right. This one got no units. But you try to convert it to becomes got units. All right. So no units becomes got unit. No units become units. All right. So when you times the total, you are actually making the no units becomes got units. So down here, how do we attempt this question? The purple color. Yes, got unit, got unit. What happened? Use means what? Use means you minus. So it's like 3 kg minus 2/3 kg. Can minus or not? Children, can minus or not? Look here, look here. Look here, what did I say? What did I say? What did I say? Got units means you can add, subtract, or divide. No problem, no problem. All right, you cannot multiply only. So you take 3 kg minus 2/3 kg. So 3 kg is like 3 whole like that. All right, you are taking 3 kg minus 2/3. Means that each of this is split up into 3 parts like that. All right. So if you minus 2/3, right, means that this part and this part is gone. All right.